Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
The following is a Red Apple Podcast Network presentation.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it.
Welcome to Dominic Carter's podcast. This is Dominic Carter's City Hall. Now, here's Dominic Carter.
Red Apple Podcast Talk Radio 77 WABC. You can listen to me, Dominic Carter, weekdays 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then again live weeknights at midnight and on Sundays 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. President-elect Donald Trump rocks the garden again. This is my podcast. Let's go. Madison Square Garden was rocking at the Ultimate Fighting Championship 309. A fighter, John Jones, just defended his heavyweight mixed martial arts title. What did he do next? He praised President-elect Trump, then walked over and gave Trump his championship belt, but also did the Trump dance in the ring with Trump sitting ringside. It's not just fighters doing the Trump dance, so are NFL players. The Trump dance is a phenomenon sweeping American sports and culture, dare I say, and it will take some time. Trump may be the one to bring America together, given time to unify the country.
Shelby Bones, how good!
I also want to say a big thank you to President Donald Trump for being here tonight.
To feel down, I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time.
That brings me to the historic Oval Office meeting between Trump and President Joe Biden. Podcaster Joe Rogan stating what we, certainly I, hold to be true. Biden wanted Trump to win the election since his own party replaced him with his own vice president, Kamala. Rogan says he guarantees Biden voted for Trump.
Biden voted for Trump. I guarantee it. I fucking guarantee it. I never saw that dude so happy in his fucking life. He lost. His party lost.
Like, yeah.
He was happy. When Obama had to shake hands with Trump and do the whole transition thing, Obama looked like, Jesus Christ. Look at Biden. Look at his fucking smile, dude.
Trump's like, whatever.
Look at his fucking smile, man. That's like when your kid gets married.
That dude looks like a hairless cat. Look at him.
It's great. First of all, what have they done to him? What have they done to his face?
Yeah.
Go back to the other picture because it was more high res. Look at his mug, man. First of all, for sure he's got some going on with his forehead. They Botoxed the shit out of his forehead. They gave him a facelift for sure. There's a bunch of different things they did, which very ill-advised, by the way, folks. Look at Trump. He looks like shit. No one cares. Everyone loves him. You don't look better if you get your face pulled back like a lizard.
No.
You just look more like a lizard. Everybody thinks you're a lizard already. But look at that smile. That motherfucker's never been happier in his life. In his life. He's like that. She went down. You can't tell me he wasn't happy. Like when he put that MAGA hat on. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
He put the MAGA hat on. And he took it with him on the plane. I guarantee you, that motherfucker is happy. He had a giant smile on his face. He said, welcome back to him.
Podcaster Joe Rogan. By the way, Nancy Pelosi's lines are getting stale. Her latest line, now it's if Biden had only dropped out sooner.
Had the president gotten out sooner, there may have been other candidates in the race. The anticipation was that if the president were to step aside, that there would be an open primary. And as I say, Kamala I think she would have done well in that and been stronger going forward. But we don't know that. That didn't happen. We live with what happened. And because the president endorsed Kamala Harris immediately, that really made it almost impossible to have a primary at that time. If it had been much earlier, it would have been different.
Come on, Nancy. It's time to sit down. Let's give the younger generation a shot. Podcaster Joe Rogan claiming that President Biden voted for Trump wasn't the only thing Rogan had to say, stating there is more Trump support out there in America than you know, and even with celebrities.
There's a lot of people that don't speak their mind. Do you know how many artists that have reached out to me that are like fucking hippies, man? Like artists, like musicians, comedians that thanked me for endorsing Trump because they can't do it. They said they want to, but they don't want to be attacked. They can't say it. They think the country's going in the wrong direction. They think that this control of social media by the government, which we would have had pretty much fully if it wasn't for Elon buying Twitter, that this is a dangerous precedent to set, whether it's a right-wing government or a left-wing government. And that what you see that's happening in the UK where people are being imprisoned for tweets and Facebook posts.
Yeah, in the UK is the part that's mind-bending about it.
Mind-bending. The whole thing is nuts, and it's a dangerous path that we were on. We were on that path. Trump has vowed to have free speech become a very important part of what he's standing for, and that this censoring of information needs to stop, and that we need to stop all government influence in what people have to say.
Yeah, look,
that alone.
That shouldn't be as revolutionary as it is.
I know. It should be a core tenet of what, I mean, it's essentially the First Amendment.
But let's face it, Trump, and rightfully so, vows major changes are coming. For example, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk have been tapped to lead the Department of Government Efficiency to cut wasteful spending of taxpayer money. Ramaswamy appeared on the Fox News channel. Entire federal agencies are on the chopping block.
I want to get your take on how this begins.
Sure.
What are you looking to cut right from the beginning?
So first is we want to go right in through executive action to do the failures of the executive branch that need to be addressed. Because the dirty little secret right now, Maria, is the people we elect to run the government, they're not the ones who actually run the government. It's the unelected bureaucrats in the administrative state. That was created through executive action. It's going to be fixed through executive action. Think about the Supreme Court's environment over the last several years. They've held that many of those regulations are unconstitutional at a large scale. Rescind those regulations, pull those regs back, and then that gives us the industrial logic to then downsize the size of that administrative state. And the beauty of all of this is that can be achieved just through executive action without Congress. Score some early wins, and then you look at those bigger portions of the federal budget that need to be addressed one by one. So I think that's one way to think about this is how can the President of the United States, who's been elected with a historic mandate, actually do the thing that the voters have voted for. They haven't voted for incremental change here this time, Maria. We have voted for sweeping change, and the voters actually deserve to get it. And we're focused on how to do that as early and as quickly as possible.
So President-elect Trump just said on that soundbite that you're going to make recommendations. So you're going to make recommendations in terms of where to cut after all that you've just said. Then what?
Look, we're not going to be cutting ribbons. We're going to be cutting costs. And so those recommendations are going to be on a real-time basis. But I do want to take a big step back and understand, for people to understand the scope of this problem. Over $500 billion that's spent every year right now was not even authorized by Congress in the first place. The Pentagon has just failed its 7th consecutive audit, nearly $1 trillion of budget. They can't even tell you where it goes. So I think part of this is exposing for the public the extent of that rot and waste, but then to take steps first through executive action and then laying the groundwork for broader change through legislation as well to rein in that deficit, to rein in that budget. And more crucially, Maria, I know we're talking about this in terms of efficiency, but there's something deeper going on here. This is about restoring self-governance and accountability in America as well.
Are you expecting to close down entire agencies like President Trump has talked about the Department of Education, for example? Are you going to be closing down departments?
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government. So, yes, we expect all of the above. And I think people will be surprised by, I think, how quickly we're able to move with some of those changes, given the legal backdrop the Supreme Court has given us.
Ramaswamy and Elon Musk have been tapped to lead the Department of Government Efficiency to cut wasteful spending of taxpayer money. Entire federal agencies are on the chopping block. Ramaswamy appeared on the Fox News channel. So Trump may bring America together, but cutting entire agencies will not go over well with some. Then there are Trump's appointments, notably former Congressman Matt Gaetz, a career politician with limited experience practicing law. He resigned from his seat in Congress just after Trump announced his intention to nominate Matt Gaetz as the top federal law enforcement officer in the United States. As Attorney General, Matt Gaetz would go from being under DOJ scrutiny to leading the nation's top law enforcement agency. The Florida Republican has a tense history with the Justice Department, clashing with officials during contentious oversight hearings where he accused the department of being weaponized against Trump and fellow conservatives. And there is also the years-long federal sex crimes investigation of Matt Gaetz that began during the Trump administration. Federal prosecutors ultimately declined to charge Matt Gaetz, but even critics of Gaetz, like Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma, says Gaetz is on to something with reining in federal law enforcement agencies.
DOJ, every last one of them, if they do not come to heel.
Senator, do you support getting rid of the FBI, the DOJ under any circumstances?
No, I actually agree with what Matt was saying there. As hard as that is for me to say that, I actually agree with him, because what he's saying is he's got to come to the side of the American people and quit playing politics. The DOJ and the FBI has been politicized. There's no question about it. We've seen what they've done to President Trump. We've seen the attacks that they continue to go after him with. The DOJ is 100% weaponized. You saw the FBI and the fake Russia hoax. You saw the FBI shielding the Biden family and shielding the laptop from the American people during the election. If they don't want to come back and do their job, and their job is to keep America safe, to watch over America's freedom through DOJ, making sure the American justice system is running smoothly and leaving politics out of it. But they haven't lately. And if they don't want to come back and get focused on what the American people's mandate was for them, then we do need to revamp the system and say, hey, maybe we've got it wrong. So I don't disagree with what Matt was saying there.
Well, and worth noting, of course, Hunter Biden has now been convicted on federal charges. The charges that were brought against President-elect Trump were brought by individual grand juries.
We had to go through a process to get there.
Let me ask you broadly, though, do you support the president-elect telling his attorney general to prosecute, to go after people he considers to be his political enemies?
The president didn't say that. That's being taken completely out of context. And President Trump hasn't been the one that weaponized the DOJ to go after his political enemies. President Trump did not do that when he was in office the first 4 years. He could have clearly done that against the Clintons if he wanted to. He didn't. Who did weaponize the DOJ was the Biden administration. We saw them continuously going after President Trump, treating him completely different. Just go think about the classified records that was kept at Mar-a-Lago versus the classified documents that was kept in the garage of Biden, and how the different reports read. It is no question they were treated different. Now, who has weaponized the politicals or the DOJ is the Democrats, and no one can deny what they did to President Trump with the 4 years underneath Biden.
Senator, it's worth noting there's absolutely no evidence that President Biden had anything to do with the federal charges brought against President-elect Trump. But are you comfortable?
Garland was
are you
appointed
comfortable
by
with law
President
enforcement
Trump,
agencies?
by President Biden, and there's no question that the White House was informed about what was happening
But
there.
Senator, you have said we're too good of a country to have the Justice Department go after political opponents. Are you comfortable with the DOJ doing exactly what you're saying you oppose?
If the DOJ is willing to take a hard look at themselves and say, hey, we've got it wrong, there's some leadership positions that have to change. The people that made these decisions have to go, and get the DOJ focused on what their priorities are supposed to be. And that's to be making sure the Constitution of the United States is equal for every person out there. And if the DOJ is willing to do that and capable of doing that, and they did it for decades, by the way, for decades. If they're able to get back and say, hey, we've got it wrong and admit wrong, then, hey, yeah, let's do it. I tell people all the time, I've never fired a single individual for making a mistake. I will fire you if you can't admit that you made a mistake. And the DOJ has made multiple mistakes, and so has the FBI.
Senator Mark Wayne Mullen says he agrees with Matt Gaetz, who has said America should get rid of the FBI and the Department of Justice if they don't, quote, come to heel. Mullen of Oklahoma has been a harsh critic of Matt Gaetz in the past.
Hey, it's Austin James. Yes, I'm living with diabetes, but it doesn't have to define me. Thanks to the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor, I get real-time glucose readings throughout the day. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor is small and easy to wear, giving me the freedom to focus on my life as a parent and a musician. Now this is progress. You can get a free sensor at freestylelibre.us.
Offer available for people who qualify. Visit myfreestyle.us to see all terms and conditions. Certain exclusions apply. Data on file, Abbott Diabetes Care. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
If you're running a retail business, don't let disorganized order fulfillment cause chaos. Use ShipStation instead. From running a business out of your garage to multiple warehouses, ShipStation is ideal for every phase of your growth. Save time with one login for all your stores and by automating tasks. Plus, you'll get the best shipping rates from global carriers. Calm the chaos with the shipping software that delivers. Start a free trial at shipstation.com/audio. That's shipstation.com/audio.
Meanwhile, some Democrats not letting the election go. On MSNBC, Joy Reid had a borderline meltdown on air live because Republicans and Democrats are uniting.
Look, clearly, Brandon wants to come together. Here he is, kikiing with the guy he was just recently saying was destroying the soul of America. It's a remarkable scene. When Biden beat Donald Trump in 2020, Trump refused to attend his swearing in. But Biden will surely be right there at Trump's. You know, I guess the whole peaceful transition of power thing only works for Republicans when the power is being peacefully transferred to them. And it's not like Donald Trump has changed. His entire campaign was centered on anything but coming together, but rather around insults, threats, weird swaying, and Hitler quotes. So please, educate me. What would you like us to come together around? You all are the ones claiming that this lady, the sitting vice president of the United States, would have been a DEI hire as president, despite having been a duly elected prosecutor, attorney general of the largest state in the union, a United States senator, and the VP. While you claim this guy is more qualified than she is because he's a man and he played a successful real estate tycoon on a popular TV show? Seriously? Are we meant to come together around his running mate, whose only job prior to 18 months as a senator was working for Peter Thiel, but apparently is not a DEI vice president for some reason that I cannot fathom? A guy who has not once taken back his insults against half the women in this country? We're coming together on sliming women as childless cat ladies now? Really?
Host Joy Reid on MSNBC. In Chicago, at a meeting, residents giving the progressive mayor there, Brandon Johnson, a complete earful.
Good afternoon. I want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now? You see the Mayor Brandon Johnson, you underestimate us. You underestimate the black people, and you underestimate Chicago Red. We're the thorn in your side, and we're going to be the thorn on everybody else in this council member side, too. If you don't stop what you're doing, we're going to take matters in our own hand, and we're going to stop it. You know that Trump had pulled 45% of the voter in the state of Illinois, 37 in the city of Chicago? That's the statistic. That means that Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red.
Y'all can bird dog me all y'all want, but if it's relationship over duty, then y'all don't serve the blue. And you can smirk all you want.
Mr. Sims, direct your attention towards me, please.
You're a criminal. Why do I got to address you? The feds need to address you. DOJ need to address you, and hopefully Donald Trump will address you. Because you're going to protect the undocumented. Why you going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer under your, 3%? See, Joe Lopez cooked that 3% up a long time ago. Y'all called it a circuit breaker. Y'all been talked about it. Remember, before you came in here and gave that jovial speech, you need to be inspected. You and that creep over there.
Acting like, you just going to bully everybody. You got people, officers whose families don't even want you to come to the funeral. You just like a schoolyard bully. That at some point, and you might not know nothing about it because you grew up in Elgin, but those of us who grew up on the south side and west side of Chicago, we all know at some point that bully gets cornered in the alley and everybody come at him. And he ain't gonna have nobody to help him. That's you. That's you. Keep thinking you ain't gonna abide by what the President of the United States said. Everybody know better than that.
Opening arguments got underway in the murder trial of Laken Riley. A migrant and a legal immigrant is standing trial in Athens, Georgia, accused of murdering the 22-year-old nursing student while she was running on the University of Georgia campus on February 22nd. This was part of the special prosecutor's opening statement. Her name, Sheila Ross.
On February 22nd, Jose Ibarra put on a black hat, a hoodie-style jacket, and some black kitchen-style disposable gloves. And he went hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus. And in his hunt, he encountered 22-year-old Laken Riley on her morning jog. And when Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly. That is what this case is all about. The evidence will show that Laken fought. She fought for her life. She fought for her dignity. And in that fight, she caused this defendant to leave forensic evidence behind. She also marked her killer for the entire world to see. The forensic evidence that he left behind in this fight is his DNA, and only his DNA and Laken's, underneath Laken's right fingernails. He also left behind in a struggle with her over her phone, because the court will hear that she called 911. He left behind his left thumbprint on her iPhone, which was found not far from her body at the crime scene. And it is that forensic evidence alone that would give you enough evidence to find him guilty as charged on the counts in this indictment.
And one of the witnesses in the courtroom, Officer Kenneth Maxwell, part of his body cam footage was shown. He tried to resuscitate Laken Riley.
Ma'am. She's down, she's not breathing. Potentially been attacked. Starting CPR now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
And there was also the tragic moment the officer found 22-year-old Laken Riley.
We heard you describe it, but tell us for the record, when you observed Laken Riley, first of all, how would you describe her clothing?
So it appeared that her clothing, at least her shirt, had been removed to up above her breast. It did not look as if something had like unintentionally happened, as if somebody falls and has a wardrobe malfunction. It looked more intentional, as if somebody had attempted to either remove her top or maybe had used it to drag her.
At some point, did you all have to remove her top?
Yes.
In order to continue CPR?
Yes.
How did y'all do that?
We have, at least some of us carry some shears on us, trauma shears, so we use those to cut off her clothing.
The senseless murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley and all the other victims around the country killed reportedly by migrants, illegal aliens. And that is all the time we have for this episode. You can listen to me, Dominic Carter, weekdays 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then again live weeknights at midnight. And on Sundays, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Red Apple Podcast Talk Radio 77, WABC.
I gotta make it. Dominic Carter Socials on Twitter at Dominic TV and Facebook and Instagram. Dominic Carter TV. Email at dominic.carter@wabcradio.com. Until the next episode, be well. And as Dominic always says, stay positive. The glass is always half full, never half empty. Dominic Carter City Hall.